the stock market, meaning companies, new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. Nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. No bullshit show about, well, all financial markets, from stocks to crypto, political betting, darknets, NFTs, and, of course, the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. This is Market Mania. And on today's episode, the Ukrainian-Russian thing just demolishes anybody that was long anything, or does it, or is it over? It is big, and Putin's breathing down the door. There is the SpaceX merger, IPOF as a CHAMATH thing that is going to happen. $200 oil needed to be addressed. Some apologies need to be thrown out to the Twitterverse there. Tony, I'm looking in your direction. The DAO Hacker has been identified. Everybody remembers that if you've been in it. And, of course, the pick of the day. But the biggest story, Russia, Ukraine, the futures, where the stocks are going down. I mean, why, Matt? What happened? Why?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the market, they're just nervous. Everyone's nervous that there's going to be a war in Europe. But it's not really affecting earnings. It's just uncertainty in the marketplace. So it doesn't matter if we go to war or everything becomes friendly. Either way, the market's going to bounce when there's a resolution. Sad as it is to say, killing people, war is not going to hurt the market. It's just the uncertainty right now that's hurting it.
I'm being represented by a Pepe, by the way, today. A little technical issue on the camera. Brett Ritchie, Putin is amassing troops, and then they're making declarations saying they're going to soft annex some things. Is the sovereignty threatened? Do you care? How does it work out? Or what do you,
It's below my line.
Does it affect your
right?
gambling?
To jump to the next topic. Yeah, it's below my line. I don't care, man. They've been lying about Russia for 7 years, right? So now I'm supposed to believe the same people that were wrong about COVID. They're wrong about everything. They constantly lie. And now it's like, oh, I'm supposed to get all up in arms. No, I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't think there's going to be a war. I think that both U.S. and Russia, like an actual war, I think there's too much at stake. I think a lot of it is total bluster. It's like Biden, the U.S. fled Kiev, the embassy or whatever. Like, there was no danger there. It just doesn't make sense. And so I think people are like getting more scared than they should be. As Matt said, it's the uncertainty that's sort of scaring the market now. But however this gets resolved, I think that there should be a bounce. So, yeah, I'm not buying it.
Not gonna have it. Brett Ritchie is not buying it. Damn. So IPOF, a CHAMATH SPAC, and then SpaceX merger. This seems
all right. This is a hot rumor, Mike. On hot. So everyone knows that CHAMATH's the king of SPACs. He had like IPOA all the way to IPOZ. He had a bunch of successful SPACs, or I should say SPACs that the deals got done. Clover Health, Open Door, SoFi, even Virgin Galactic. And the hot rumor is because of last week, a couple interesting things happened where first CHAMATH resigned from the board at Space at Virgin Galactic, the symbol's SPCE. Everyone remembers that one. And at the same time, like the day after SpaceX, which is Elon Musk's rocket ship company, which has a private valuation of $100 billion. I think it's the second biggest private company in the world. They announced a 10-for-1 stock split, and so when they did that, and CHAMATH resigned from the board of Virgin Galactic, people know that Elon Musk and CHAMATH are very close friends. The rumor mill started, and it looks like people are saying that because of that 10-for-1 stock split, it makes the mechanics easier for a reverse merger when you do the SPAC deal. And because CHAMATH's been saying IPOF is the next one's going to have a big deal, this is the perfect target. Good friends, they trust each other. He left the board of a competing company The time is right, and IPOF is now trading. It's on a $10 SPAC. It's only trading $10.12, but the rumor mill is just getting started, and this would be the deal of the year if it happened.
Well,
Brett, thoughts, Brett?
Yeah.
Mike on. You got robot voice.
So
Brett, what are your thoughts on this one?
So Chamath dumped a ton of his Virgin Galactic too, right?
He's out. He's completely out of SPCA, Virgin Galactic.
He dumped his stock too, right?
Yep.
Which was like a little people were like, he's like, I need liquidity or something. People were like, why is this the one thing that, is like a bit of a red flag? Either way, I like it, right? That's a good gamble. You say you're basically paying, like, I come from the NFT world, we'd call that mint price, right? You're minting this thing for $10 and you've got upside at a rare, which would be you hit a SpaceX. So like, all right, so say it is SpaceX. Where does this trade? Like what kind of profit are we talking potentially?
SpaceX, the last round of private money went up. I think it was $100 billion valuation. So it's a huge company. But
for this SPAC, like what if I buy the IPOF and it turns into SpaceX? How does that work for me?
Yeah, well, first of all, at 100B. 100B.
First of all, it depends how they structure the deal. But right away, that if there was any kind of substantial rumor come out about IPOF and SpaceX, that thing would just fly. The thing would go maybe from 10 to 18, 20, who knows where it would go, just from the rumors alone. And then it just depends on how they structure the deal and what valuation you're getting. In this kind of market, I could see the stock going just because it's that one deal. That with SpaceX is like the prize, even if it's Starlink, but SpaceX is probably the big prize. Between $10 and $30 a share, it could easily trade up and down between those two levels.
It's 10 now.
Yeah.
But
SPACs work a little differently, but we'll get that.
I feel
that at a later
just
date.
Ape in. They see SpaceX, they're going to click buy.
It's going to be. It'll be the biggest stock of the week or the month for sure.
They're ravenous. Yeah. I've been staring at it since like it's 30B valuation. Like, oh my, like I'll go work there. Like anything to get equity. Like it just, Starlink is just an amazing world. Like everyone in the world needs it, and it's whatever. Just gonna.
Have you guys gone to the pump lately? See how much it is to fill your car?
I usually don't pay attention. There's been a couple of times in the last year when I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like $80.
They tell me the groceries have gotten more expensive too.
Tony, $200 oil?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought up oil, Matt. We got a little bit of pushback from our last episode, Canadian Bank Run. I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole wondering if it's possible that the Ukraine, all of the propaganda surrounding it could be a reason to drive oil to $200 a barrel. That would be a great way to hide what I believe to be inflation that we just can't avoid. I think it's baked into the cake, and now they're trying to find different crises to blame all the money printing they have to do on. So that's kind of where I was coming from. And I didn't just, let me start over. We, on Twitter, after I said that, we got some pushback from user Tony Nikaj. He said, quickly shut off the show when you guys started talking about $200 oil. Brian said he's going to come and rein me in. Well, listen, I don't think so, Brian. I don't think so.
I said I was going to take you to task. I mean, you see what happened to the, look at how many Twitter threads we go reply back and forth to each other on.
Yep.
The man was deeply offended.
Well,
you
I'm
said
not trying.
$200 oil.
Okay, so
and then now you've offended somebody.
Absolutely. So he says a basic understanding of $200 oil is collapse of the financial system in World War III. Well, you're absolutely right, Tony. I'm aware of that, but I think that's what we're staring at anyway. I think there's no getting out of the money printing. I don't think the Fed can stop inflation. I don't think they can raise enough basis points to stop inflation. I think this is baked in the cake, and all that's left. Also. What's that?
This guy's a Tony also, right?
Absolutely.
He's also a Tony?
Yep.
So you guys have more in common than you do apart, actually.
That's right. That's right.
And other Tony, angry Tony, listen, I said I'd rein him in. I said I'd bring him back down to earth for you, okay? And I basically have done that to the extent which it's possible. You know that we have all views on this show, like Matt Glantz was saying. We'll show you some leftist viewpoints, some rightist viewpoints, some centrist viewpoints, and then we'll show you Tony. We'll show you everything.
We'll show you the only viewpoint.
Okay, so thank you for your patronage, Tony, and thank you for making the show, Tony, the producer.
No problem. Let me just say to Angry Tony.
This is another defense here. This is a further defense of the $200 oil. Is
Absolutely.
what you have up? Is it zero hedge link?
Now
okay,
look,
I'm not going to allow it this time. I'm not going to allow it next time. You're going to have to pass this kind of information by glance next time.
All right. As of last month, JP Morgan was calling for $150 barrel oil. And I didn't just pull $200 out of my ass. Zoltan Pozar. Anybody named Zoltan, the Fed repo oracle, Zoltan Pozar. If you're named that, you can read the future. It's physics. He said the same thing. He was saying the exact same thing. He said the Fed could achieve its objectives of burning out inflation and sparking much-needed economic reset by pushing oil to 200, which would incidentally spark World War III and a global financial collapse. So I am aware of that. Okay, and just yesterday, just yesterday, oil prices, you can expect them to be above $100 for a prolonged time, and gas prices will go up too.
Hedge links.
Nord Stream
3
2.
zero hedge links.
Nord Stream 2 just got shut off to Germany. So energy prices across the board are going up. Okay, I would say be in commodities, be in oil, be in nat gas, be in silver, be in aluminum. Commodities are where it's at right now. And yeah, get ready for the great reset.
It happened again. Tony's going to be on. See, this guy, Tony, the other Tony's going to be just. This is awful. We haven't solved anything. He's going to be just as pissed off today at this one, is all I'm saying. That was 3 zero hedge links. You need to diversify your resources, all right?
Well,
you diversify your sources.
All right. Well, there it is. I think $200 is possible. I'm going to get out of here. You guys finish this up. Clean up after my mess here.
Brother Tony, I'll see you on Twitter. All right? I'll see you on Twitter. The DAO hacker was identified. This is a crazy story. Anybody that enjoys the history of crypto, one of the bigger fonted footnotes is probably the DAO hack that happened on Ethereum right at just about when Ethereum was in its infancy. They do a little sale. It's like 2015, they do the sale. 2016, the DAO, the first ever DAO, comes about. And it's everybody contributes 150 million worth of Ethereum to the general Ethereum DAO, which is going to build.
Which was like a lot of the whole supply, right? Like now 150 million is nothing. But
14%.
Yeah.
14%
of the entire supply.
Of all the ETH just ends up in one smart contract. Good decision, everyone out there. And it turns out that the very first ever high dollar Solidity contract was not quite so secure. Didn't really remember everything that there is to know. And I don't have a clue what it is, but it sounds hard. And a hacker, a hacker, I'm doing air quotes. My camera isn't on, but trust me, I'm doing them. Drained the smart contract of all the ETH. Now, this sparked one of the greatest and still raging debates in crypto. Code is law. Is code law, or is it not law? Is it, oh no, we didn't mean for this smart contract just to be able to be drained, but based on the Solidity code, that's what it said, and the guy pressed the right button or whatever and just shot out the money. And then so right after this happened, the exploiter, this attacker, if you will, depending on how you decide to personally label him, this interactor with this ETH address that interacted with the smart contract, he posted some messages to the blockchain saying, I vigorously defend this. I legally obtained this. I gave the contract an instruction, and then the contract did what it was supposed to do, and now those ETH are mine. And so it's interesting because what happened because of this is Vitalik Buterin very famously now forked Ethereum to remove those hackers' coins from ETH. So everything we know as ETH today, the thing that the CryptoPunks and the apes are on and the Pepes, if they're wrapped in emblem vaults, are on, that chain is the forked chain. And then something known as Ethereum Classic, for those of you that aren't deep in the weeds of random alts, is the original Ethereum chain with the DAO hackers' coins there. Now, today, Forbes, some writer, don't even remember who, but you should probably say her name because I think she worked really hard on this.
Laura Shin. She's one of the sharpest journalists alive. She is a gumshoe journalist of the old order. Much respect to Laura Shin.
Doxed the 2016 DAO hacker today. Dropped the bombshell. Who was it? I didn't even read
So he was the co-founder of 10X, which was basically a scam ICO that raised 80 million. The other founder, Julian Hess, whatever, you can Google these guys, and 10X and all that. But it was basically one of the most egregious ICOs in a lot of regards. And so it's weird if this guy was the hacker from the DAO hack, where even with that amount on Ethereum Classic or whatever, he was tornado cashing this stuff out, which is supposedly how he got caught. He moved some to Bitcoin and then they traced his address. But this guy's already super rich from this hack. But then he goes on to launch this other scam. I don't know. So
this guy's name.
Shady.
This guy's name was Toby Honish, 36-year-old programmer. But I think the real interesting part of this story is not that they caught this guy, but that Laura Shin drove this investigation. And right here is this paragraph here. Last year I was working on my book, my sources and I utilizing, among other things, a powerful and previously secret forensics tool from crypto tracing firm Chainalysis. They came to believe they figured out who had done it. So I think the story here is tracking the guy down and the tools that they use to do it. It's kind of freaky, and it means a lot to the crypto community. We're going to have to figure this out. I think Monero is going to become important. I think Pirate Chain is going to become important because of things like this. Using capability that is being disclosed here for the first time, Chainalysis demixed the Wasabi transactions and tracked their output to 4 exchanges. So there's some new tools out there, crypto traders. You may think you're safe, but it's getting wild. I just wanted to point that out.
I mean,
anyway,
it's pretty.
All right.
It's pretty brutal. I mean, like that's Monero might end up. I always thought that Bitcoin was going to be like how Monero really is when I first found it, just for things like this. Like, I mean, this is amazing what's happening in the privacy space in the crypto world, and it is. This one's going to be interesting. I mean, whether they think that this DAO hacker, I don't even know if is it a hacker, Brett? What do you call it? Exploiter? Is that
like that?
Whatever.
Happy, we're on a time restraint.
Mine if we don't move on to.
We gotta get back to trading, guys. So let's move it on.
We haven't even did one thing about NFTs, but I guess you'll just have to give me your pick of the day. You know what we do here? We don't waste your time. This is not investment advice. I do actually have on the not investment advice hat. Just realized the camera isn't working. But Matt Glantz, what's your pick of the day?
My pick is IPOF. We talked about it earlier. I'm actually going to buy another 10,000 right here at $10.11. Executed about half of it so far. It's pretty much a cheap free roll where it's a $10 SPAC. You can get it for $10.11, and if rumors start, you can sell it for a lot higher.
Right onto the face he goes by SPACing himself, hoping for a rocket launch. Brett, what's your pick of the day?
My pick of the day is Ryanair. They have a ton of flights to Kyiv. It's a low budget, really popular European airline. Since I'm so confident there's not going to be a war in Europe, I like buying the dip on one of the European airlines that you can buy shares in the U.S. market. So I'm rolling Ryanair.
I sure hope you're right, because these bags are wrecked.
You got Ryanair?
And I'm going to go with Coinbase. I want my Coinbase. I'm going to double, triple, quadruple down on the crypto exposure that I have. And I just can't fathom Coinbase at these levels. This is a PE of like 17, 18 without the regulatory pressure. This would be just in the stratosphere. They're going to announce earnings this week. Gotta love a nice leveraged, locked and loaded gamble, Matt Glantz. Got to love it. And this man will sell me the instruments that I want to buy. That's how it works. Glantz is the house, and I'm just the casual gambler in this play. But anyway, that's going to do it. That is going to do it. And then there was, it's funny because I was looking up the song for tonight. Stroke It is the one that we're going with. And there's actually been another Strokin' since like the old Clarence Carter Strokin' that, that's the real Strokin'. And it goes something like this for the hook. I stroke it to the east, and I stroke it to the west, and I stroke it to the woman that I love the best. I be stroking. Join us every single time we decide to do it. It's been more like a Tuesday, Thursday thing. Don't really know what happens when I'm not here, but Tony, the producer, does do a kick-ass job of getting it. Go and get your rare Pepes at on my OpenSea, and we will see you next time if we do this the next time. But for now, it's lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine.
Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold or a domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl.
Switch it up.
I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury. However, turn it where I would turn it. Can't lie like it's Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine should've looked the other way. Couldn't clear space, and my mind was afraid of the time strobe light flicking in the moonlight.